All right, folks, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the great debate, who will lead our city, and I'm sure you'll all agree there's a fine line-up here. Well, it's the best line-up we'll get, because this is the line-up. I welcome you all, the candidates along tonight, and also to everybody here in the city. Good on you for getting out and getting involved as well. There's so much apathy with local body, but you guys have got, I'm really impressed. Like, you give a shit about democracy, you know, well done. And you should see in other places around the country, they simply don't turn up and don't care. Or the ones that do are nutters. And there's only a few nutters here, so, you know. And that's just the ones on the stage. So I welcome you all. Thank you so much. It was fantastic with the candidates out there. I thought that's good democracy. I'd demand it every year. So when they make stupid decisions and spend $2 million on a clock tower, you can stand in front of them and say, right, you know. But I was told not to mention the clock, so I didn't do that. It's good to be here. You guys always make me feel welcome when I get down here. And you guys are the lucky ones living where you live. You've got space, you've got friendly people, good people, and I've always enjoyed it here. And the best thing about living in Auckland is leaving it and watching the view as you leave it behind. I've never agreed with Invercargill getting the, in 2022, you got the Shit Town Award, the shittiest town. I'd never agreed. I thought Levin should have got that. So. If you've been there, you'll know why. Health and safety messages. Toilets are in the foyer. Emergency or alarm evacuation. Follow the instructions from the Ascot staff. They'll be in high-vis vests. I mean, that's what we do now. Everyone's in high-vis vests, aren't they? Overkill. So follow them. And there's a meeting point under the covered veranda. If you smoke, I have been given no instructions, but I'll put a little cross out there on the road. Stand there so we can point at you and embarrass you and say they're still smoking. So that'd be good. That'd be useful. I've seen some weird shit in politics over the years, but I've never seen a guy standing for two mayoralties at the same time. So Andrew Clark and Maxwell Clark, welcome to the stage. Nice to see you both. If he wins here and there, he's a part-time mayor of both places. So it's sort of ludicrous, but thanks for turning up. We're pretty bad at local body elections, but you guys aren't. A 30% turnout really around the country, but I think it's 50% here. So half the town cares, which is actually pretty impressive. If we can get that up, even better. Councils have a pretty wide mandate. They're in our lives, in every corner of our life. So, and the Chief Executive will know that. There's lots of pressures in this city as well. He wants more money out of you somehow, and you don't want to give him more money. You want more from them, and all that sort of stuff. So there's pressure everywhere, and we'll ask these guys tonight to front up on their promises. They'll promise the world, and you guys will pay. So be very careful. I'd also like to thank my cousin, Fat Bastard, for I'll say it before you do. Thank you for your sponsorship. You gave me a box to stand in front of before. It was great, but it was empty. You're looking at me, and I don't do empty boxes. The candidates will each, 7 candidates will have 7 questions. They each have pulled a number out already, so they know the sort of general topic we're going with. They'll get a minute to answer the question, and then it's all in. And I do welcome interjections. They must be funny, especially if you're close to me, because I'll point you out. So they must be funny, humorous, but they must be. I want some abuse, and not of me, of these guys. If any of these guys go over time, we've got the chicken of shame, where they have to hug it for the next few minutes, and as they sit there and look like an absolute dickhead. So we'll do that. So we'll look for the first dickhead that holds this. The Youth Council will ask questions as well. We'll get to them, and we'll end on some quick-fire questions as well. We'll go from Alex through here to TikTok Tom. Bloody TikTok, it's all the kids, it's all they do, isn't it? They gave up NCA and did TikTok. I'll kick it off with Alex. If you could go up, you've got 2 minutes, and it starts now.
Kia ora koutou, everybody. 10 years ago, I put my hand up for council because I could not see anybody around our leadership table that reflected me or anybody that I knew. Our council simply wasn't reflective of our communities. I was here raising a young family and nothing had changed. Our centre city was tired. Our future felt uncertain, and even the kids section of the library at the time was being tucked, or was set to being tucked at the back section of our library, which is windowless. That didn't sit right with me, so of course I'm a Southland girlie. I rolled up my sleeves and I got stuck in. I started showing up. I read every single public piece of information that I could possibly get my hands on for well over a year, and in 2016 I was delighted to be elected to your council. I knew that in order to be credible, I had to show up and I had to do the work and I had to earn my place. And I've never stopped showing up. But this election truly isn't about me. This election is about us, the kind of city that we want to hand to the next generation. Invercargill deserves a mayor who can honour where we have been while unlocking where we can go. Leadership is not about shortcuts or slogans. It is about trust, it is about discipline, and it is about the courage to put people before politics. I've heard from pensioners who are having to choose between buying a loaf of bread or paying for their rates. This is not the Invercargill that we should accept. We need steady, experienced hands on the basics, the roads, water, waste, because our strong foundations give us room to dream bigger. My commitment to community is not conditional. I bring more than a decade of local government experience. I know our system inside out, not only here, but nationally. Is that the finish, or is it? Okay, all right. I need to wrap up there, so I just want to finish on, if we fix our reputation, we fix our future, and the cost, if we don't, is simply too high. Our city is ready. I am ready. Let's put Invercargill back on the map for the right reasons.
Alex, who would be your deputy if you won?
Pardon?
Who would be your deputy if you won?
Well, we've got some really strong candidates around the table at the moment, so I'm going to wait until I see what that spread looks like, but I'm incredibly confident that we've got some incredible new people coming through, so it may either be one of them or one of the ones that are the absolutely front runner.
Okay, Andrew, I'll get you up here. Otherwise known as Maxwell and Tasman. Come on.
I always enjoy a joke. Andrew Clark, I would be honoured to be your mayor. I would have ratepayers' interests front and centre. As mayor, I would treat the public's money in the same way I treat my own, carefully, intentionally and with accountability. I am Managing Director of Medimax Ambulance Service and work in the health sector, caring for people both as an intensive care paramedic and an emergency care nurse, and have a lifetime commitment to helping people. My leadership, I would listen, empower and deliver and able to make good decisions. I bring fresh eyes. Families and businesses are under pressure and they expect council to take a responsible, disciplined approach to spending, to effectively manage the governance role for both the council's financial position and performance, and operate a collective and inclusive team in council. That's quite an important thing. Without hesitation, as your new mayor, I would find an alternative water supply as a priority for Invercargill. You are completely solely dependent on the river. In the event of an earthquake or severe drought, there would be real problems in the community. I've spoken to a local engineer, water engineer, and he informs me that there's a good, reliable source between Invercargill and Bluff. Secondly, it would not place any restrictions on any business expanding for business reasons or indeed attracting new businesses through water requirements. Residential properties have a flat charge of $800 for water supply as part of your annual rating bill. It is proposed that they put a residential properties, they charge you for your volume of water that you use. I speak from experience. Your water bill will increase to approximately $1,000 more than you pay with volume expenses. I say no to water charges. I'm passionate about Invercargill, its people, economy and environment. Elect Andrew Clark as your new mayor. Thank you.
How will you, Andrew, split your time if you win in Tasman?
Well, the fact of the matter is there, you've got the mayor who stood at the last, said he wasn't standing and then he was.
But how do you, well, if you win there and win here, what will you be at every second council meeting? How will you split your time?
I'd spend it here.
Have you told Tasman that? Have you told Tasman that?
Yep.
You have?
Yes, I have. I've been in the council the meetings 3
So you've said that if you're mayor there, you'll spend your time here?
Yes. What did you say, sorry?
I said if you be elected mayor there, you'll spend your time here. No. I'm just.
The reality is that you've got a sitting mayor in Tasman, and once he put his name in at the last moment, there was no opportunity. If you realise how the votes are split, there's 4 other people.
But if you win there, how can you do the job here?
Well, I'll be wanting to do it here. This is what I like.
Well, what will you do up there?
Well, if you think I'm getting 2 mayorships,
Well, you're standing for 2.
I'm saying that's correct.
Okay, I have a seat.
Other people are standing for more.
Yeah, I know. I think it's crazy. But anyway, welcome. Good to see you. There's a Tasman News here. Anyway, Ian, you're next. I'm trying to get my head around it.
Hi, my name is Ian Pottinger. I'm currently a fifth term City Councillor and serving this apprenticeship I am now standing for the role of Mayor. In doing so, I am giving heed to the saying, if you want something done right, do it yourself. I first stood for council in 2010 because of what I saw was ignorance and backwardness in council not issuing a planning consent for a new vibrant business. Since 2010, I've not only carried out my council role, but have gone the extra yards to help various citizens who are not getting the proper respect and treatment by council. I always have had an open door policy, and as Mayor, I will continue to do so. This term will see some major changes in how council carries out its duties. There are changes to the Resource Management Act, new infrastructure standards, but to me, the most significant change is that council will have to run a completely separate balance sheet for its three waters activities. The resulting work that staff will have to do will be massive, and the reporting will fill a lot of our agenda space. Elected council members will still be the governance for this new separate financial entity, and in doing so, will need to ensure that the new entity operates with the financial efficiency that the government intends it to. But enough about Three Waters and the RMA. Let's talk about the burnt out building on the corner of Spey and D Streets. I don't know all the damning secrets, but it needs to be sorted. So if elected Mayor, day one, priority one, phone call to Penny Simmons, please get me in touch with the appropriate minister. Thank you for listening.
Ian, if you win, who would be your deputy?
I could come out and say it would be Councillor Bond.
Right. Thank you for being honest and being direct. Congratulations on the job. Both of you. Okay. Hey, why do they call you Rangi? But my research tells me, you know, what's the nickname? Rangi.
Do I need a mic? No?
Yes, you do.
We've got a mic
hear
here now. Okay,
yeah.
Right. So I am prepared for this question. So back in 1976, James Hargest High School, I decided to give acting a go in the major production, and it just happened to be a play called The Pahutakawa Tree.
Oh, yeah.
So I rock up just to get a minor part, and Jonathan Tucker, a well-known director, you've got dark hair. You're going to play the lead Murray boy role.
And that was you.
And that I played that role, unfortunately. But funny enough, the name of the boy in the play was Johnny.
Not at that school, mate.
No, not at that school. So yeah, hence
your Rangi.
Rangi. And just a funny thing that happened when I first stood in 2010. I didn't know whether to go as Rangi or Ian. So I put Ian in the big posters, brackets Rangi.
And did you get in?
Yeah, I got in, but my mates called me Brackets.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I got great mates.
Thanks for that, mate. Awesome. Steve, coming up.
Kia ora. My name's Stevie Chernyshov, and if you want a personality for Invercargill City, if you want somebody who's going to smile and challenge the system that is currently in place, I'm here to tell you that what we need to do is build a localised and enterprising southern New Zealand. What we need to do is we need to re-evaluate the structural, financial and contractual commitments of the Invercargill City Council and find a way to get a sustainable financial future for Southland. We need to bring it back to the people so that the money that is being brought into Invercargill can circulate around Invercargill and young people and old people alike can find opportunities. I'll revisit this shortly. What I want to do is challenge you. If you question my leadership ability, we are running a men's conference on the 30th of August. Come down to the men's conference and or send your man if you're a woman. You'll see that what we're going to do is we're going to inspire, encourage and motivate the men, and we're going to give them a challenge to step up as local people who have authority in this community. If you want to know more about what I stand for, my website is southern.nz. Here to develop a localised economy and build an entrepreneurship in the community. Yep. And looking forward to the big night in. Here we go.
Thank you, Steve. Just on the men's conference, any tickets left available, or? Yes, we do. And are women invited? No. No. Well, there's half your vote gone. You just fucked that one, mate.
So what you could do if you are a woman and you want your man to stand up, be a bit more inspired, send him down.
Right.
Come home a better man.
And how will you inspire them?
What we're going to do is we're going to teach about setting a new trend for the next chapter of your life. A lot of guys don't like to admit it, but they're spending a bit too much time alone. And what we need to do is we need to actually step up and realise that we're valuable men and network with some other blokes and then set a pace for the next chapter of our lives.
Yes,
we're not here to let United Nations and big contracts run our future. We're here to develop a better one.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Rhea Bond, ladies and gentlemen.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rhea Bond, and I'm a first... Is it because I'm short?
Yeah, no,
And I'm a first-term councillor. I'm standing for Mayor because I believe Invercargill deserves experience, steady leadership, and that truly delivers for our people. This decision stems from profound respect for our community and a determination to lead us into a future defined by unity, opportunity, and sustainability. My career has taken me from the hairdressing floor and owning that business into serving in central government and stepping into governance and community leadership roles. Along the way, I've had to make the tough calls. I've had to balance the budgets. I've had to be accountable. That journey from small business to central government and public office has been one built on resilience and a deep commitment to our community. It has taught me the importance of transparency, of listening and making decisions that stand to the test of time, not just for an election cycle. I know the frustration when councils choose vanity projects or short-term wins that leave ratepayers paying the price for decades. As Mayor, my focus will be clear and it will be disciplined. I will be investing in the essentials first, cutting back costs that are not core council business, improving council efficiencies, reducing consultant costs. The museum project will be kept on budget or it will face cutbacks. Return to a balanced budget is my aim. Remain fiscally disciplined, lobby government for regional development, promote our community, respect our people and earn back your trust. I will be focused on making sure that every dollar of your rate is every dollar wisely spent. But more than policies, what matters most to me is people. I've lived, worked and raised my family here. I know Invercargill's strength, I understand its challenges, and I know and I believe in its heart. Our city deserves a mayor who listens, who consults, and who works alongside the community to build a future that is vibrant, affordable and sustainable. Thank you.
Do you think $90 million is too much for a museum?
If you were part of the meeting of council that looked at putting that together on budget, I didn't support that spend on it. No, I didn't.
It's the equivalent of a 300 square metre build of a house at $7.5 million.
Exactly, and even I can't afford that.
Yeah, neither. A divorce will do that to you.
And keep you poor too, Duncan.
What's that?
And keep you poor too.
Yeah. Well, we'll work our way through that. I mean, the media's got a huge opportunity these days. You would have noticed that. Tom, TC.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm sure that everyone here will remember the bad joke from 10 or 15 years ago that the last person to leave Invercargill, please switch the lights out. Because the city was in decline up until about 2015. Well, you don't hear them laughing now. Invercargill has turned a corner. We have a revitalised central city. Our population is growing. And our economy is the strongest of any part of New Zealand. Over the last 5 years, ratepayers, either individually or through the council have invested in the city directly, which has been a major factor in transforming the city's fortunes. I support those investment decisions. As a community, we should be proud of them because we did it. They had to be done to stop the city's decline, and now we're in the best position we've been as a city for something like 40 years. But that investment inevitably fed into rates, and at the same time as a general cost of living crisis, which doubled the pain for homeowners. So the new building phase has to be over. There are infrastructure projects to do, but that has to be it for capital works funded by ratepayers. Affordability of rates and efficiency savings within ICC itself will be the priority of any council which I lead. And I support government-proposed capping of rate rises. We will need to hold every dollar a hostage and make 80 cents do the work of that dollar. Actually, not every improvement needs capital, nor should council fund every project. Invercargill has momentum behind it, and Invercargill will continue to flourish, but people have to be able to afford to live here, and more people will want to come here to live. But maybe we don't issue visas to those who laughed at that joke 10 years ago. Thank you.
Tom, do you agree with spending $1.9 million on the clock tower?
No, we don't have to. It'll be much less than that. That was how much money was left from the $4 million we committed to the overall project. It'll be around $1 million. If you asked me that, I would say still a lot of money, but yes.
Right, thank you. TikTok Tom. You can welcome you. 2 minutes, mate.
I stand in front of you. Is this on?
Yes.
I stand in front of you. Nobody else was standing in front of you. Everybody was hiding behind the lectern gate, we could call it. Everybody was supposed to say who they were, but I only just heard people giving policy speeches. I'm Tom Morton. I was originally growing up in Palmerston North. My mum grew up on the West Coast, and she met my dad in Christchurch. In '84, my dad, while he was critically ill, said, go see the world. And I did. Very similar times. Everybody was leaving the country in '84 because of Think Big. Invercargill did quite well out of Think Big with TY. Same thing is happening in Invercargill. I stand in front of people every day when I go door to door, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I've had people, for different reasons, cry, hopefully because it wasn't me or a joke, but cry seriously in front of me. I've been taken from a door to see, I don't know how to say it, a body of somebody who either committed suicide or a drug overdose, or somewhere between the two. And the funeral, I rushed home and got dressed for the funeral. And then I see other people who have lost their jobs, and just totally people who have been evicted for sometimes their own reason. I do know some of the stories, and sometimes not for their own reason. They just haven't got anywhere to go. The biggest problem in Invercargill is they've got nowhere to go. Tracy and I, one of Tracy's first questions, where are you going to live when we came to Invercargill? We slept in Bond Street, and we had a place where we could stay in inclement weather. I stand in front of you telling you who I am. I've spoken to groups like this weekly around the world. Sales, marketing, training, and conferences, what I've been doing mostly. But I'm a truck driver, taxi driver, factory worker, cleaner, a grafter. That's who I am.
Thanks, Tom. Cheers. Would you have a deputy mayor if you won?
Yeah, somebody who's grassroots. I like how Ian and Rhea are sticking knives into the council every now and again, and I love the grassroots of Steve. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have 3 deputies.
Oh, hopefully he would.
Yeah.
They've got to keep up with the.
Be like Luxon. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm going to.
No, I left in '84 when Rob Muldoon had been doing all the big projects, like Marsden Point, Twizel, New Plymouth. There's another one, I can't remember that one.
some lakes, I think, some dams. Okay, that's going well with the power supply. So, okay, I want to go through questions now, and the first one will be, we're lucky we get TikTok time again. So I will ask a question, you get a minute to answer it, and then I ask the other candidates, you can ask questions of Tom, and if you've got anything to say in the crowd too, get into it. This is about the water services and infrastructure reform. How would you as Mayor, if you look at the next 3 years around the water rates and water delivery, how would you as the Mayor handle the issues, the costs and the management of water, which is so crucial in all councils around the country, but especially here?
Absolutely, absolutely. I loved what Ian said. Very smart, very accurate of what Ian said. This is a problem of sins of my fathers of the last election, both locally and with the government. At one of the Meet the Candidates, the gentleman who had been head of the hospital said, we need free waters because it's money given by the government. Now it's gone. That's sins of our fathers. What we have to do is, it's going to be a 15% increase. They've got 10 kilometres of pipeline made already, and by the time it's completed, it's going to be at least 15% increase over the budget, what they expect. We need a strong relationship with the government and cities. Ben's here. Gord's gone through the problem. Wellington's having the problem. Half a dozen other cities are having the same problem.
Okay.
We approach the government and try to get more help from the government because it's too big for the ratepayers to pay.
Okay, so would you then, given the council has chosen to retain the water services in-house, would you turn that over and say, no, we want to go and seek government help?
It's not turn it over, it's ask the government who's got more resources to help. You know, I'll ask my neighbour to help.
They've got no resources, they're broke. They borrow $500 million every Thursday.
Yeah, and 43,000.
They do, every Thursday, $500 million. That's only 24 hours away.
To today, 43,700 people have left the country too. Why? Because they don't like it here. It's too expensive to live.
But who will you talk to in government? What will you say to them about water? Who will you go to?
I don't know who to go to. I'll find out who.
Chris Bishop probably might start there. What about, do you think you can do it cheaper? And do you think you can guarantee it?
I'm not a building contractor. I'm not an engineer. I'd ask the experts who do it.
More consultants in.
More consultants. We shouldn't get consultants into Invercargill. We've got enough expertise working for the City Council to help us do this properly. We don't need to get more consultants in to do it. I'm not an engineer. I'm not in construction. Get the experts who are already here in the council to get something, a plan to go forward.
Okay.
Ian put phenomenal ideas. If you want,
I think Ian's your coalition partner on this, isn't he? Ian, are you?
He's my coalition partner.
Ian, would you like to sit quickly on this one and join TikTok?
Do you want
to speak on this?
That's the coalition partner.
I think he's claiming defamation here, but anyway.
Okay, look, I'll speak on this. You're talking about the Three Waters reform.
Yeah.
Well, our council is a classic example of why the government would perhaps want a CCO or a separate board making these decisions, because December last year we had the chance of approving the Bluff wastewater consent on budget, $7 million, had the blessing of iwi, but a majority of council, which wasn't 4 of us, decided they knew better.
And stuffed it up.
We're gonna, and guess what?
Exactly.
And this, guess what? Somewhere between 30 and 60 million. It's going to cost instead of 7. I've been on council 15 years. That's the worst decision I have witnessed, and it gives heed to actually saying.
Are those 4 people? Are those 4 people still standing?
Ria's one. The other 2 councillors, I have to say, did a good job. Were Ludlow and Councillor Soper.
Right, Alex, do you have a view on this?
Is this thing on?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. What Councillor Pottinger said is absolutely scaremongering. I know Councillor
There we go. Here's better.
Councillor Campbell and Councillor Dermody have been in the media recently refuting what Councillor Pottinger has said, and they were absolutely correct, and I'll stand beside them to say that. We have no idea what that is actually going to cost us yet. We haven't got the report forward, and until we do, in that point in time, throwing around really scary numbers like $80 million or $60 to $80 million is actually just setting expectation out there that is not reality.
Is she not telling the truth?
No, she's not, because the reason is that the new regulations, when they came out, were for a town of 1,800 people plus, Bluffers,
Yep.
and with a coastline that is deemed low energy. We were given the two choices, the two options by our staff, that either a pipeline way out to better waters or a very expensive nitrate removal plant. These are real. These are the only options available. So this is not scaremongering. So coming from a person who voted to kick it for touch, I think they need to do some homework.
Yeah, well, you're lucky you got some options, because we in Auckland, we get the water from the Waikato River and pay them $2 million a year. So you're lucky we do that. Rhea, you wanted to say something?
I did. I actually asked each one of you to go back and have a look online at what meeting was held for the Bluff Wastewater Day consent. You'll see that Councillor Pottinger is actually telling the truth. You'll see that the claims that he's misleading is actually merely maybe guilt for being immature with how to deal with governance and consenting. To actually be in that room and not take the advice from the expert advice we got, from the environment lawyer that we got, it was actually quite debilitating watching how obviously some councillors hadn't read the papers, that they were voting with the majority in the room, and that always happened.
All right. Tom, you want to say something?
So it would have been ridiculous to have done the Bluff wastewater plant when you knew that the standards were changing actually this year, and that that plant, or whatever we did there, would be out of date before it was even built. The decision that was taken was to wait to see what the standards were before we proceeded with whatever the design was, and that's just plain sense. Now, it might be, sorry, 1 second, it might be that it's zero cost, or it could be an extreme, it could be the 60 million cost. We don't know, because we don't know what the standard is. It is scaremongering, using the extreme number rather than, you know.
It tends to be the extreme number.
No, sorry, can I just need to correct that again. Look,
It's good that we've got unity on this.
In December, we were able,
20 seconds.
by sheer chance, to do it under the old rules. And if we'd have nailed it on December the 16th, we would have got a 20-year consent. That is real. That is not a consent that would have been overturned this year. That was real, and that is fact.
Yep. Okay. There's no one arguing.
It should have been settled back then. My father worked for the Bluff Borough Council for years, and he was head of water reticulation and sewage. And he said when he was alive that when the opportunity arises to upgrade, you need to get onto it,
Yeah.
because costs will change
They do.
ever so quickly. So thank you,
Like them all.
Councillor Ian and
Like the
Councillor.
museum.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm going to go to Andrew for question 2, and this is around the suggestion that's come from government around the ratings cap, around capping rates. And you've seen what's happening in a town like this, hospital facing all sorts of serious capacity constraints and that sort of thing. So, what experience or relationships do you have in working with central government? How would you, well, who would you be first, and how would you deal with them?
Well, thank you for that inquiry.
You're welcome.
I think the government has got aspirational objectives about a lot of things. And operational reality, which is what affects you people in the local community, is something that needs to be changed sometimes. If I was in the mayor's position, the first thing I'd be doing is inviting the Minister of the South Island, James Meagher, to here. I'd ask him, the council staff and CEO, to present a document to them and give them a briefing paper to ask them what sort of things you think us as a community is going to be served by. I'm well aware that the government is proposing to put a rating cap on the communities throughout the country. But what it really needs is, the first thing you need to control the costs first. It's no good putting a rating cap on a community that doesn't have control of their financial stuff. I'm very keen to lobby government. I've been in Parliament before lobbying on the health issues. I think the government needs to listen rather than think. And
Karen? Karen?
Yeah, and I
got one more
think they
question.
will listen. I think that they do listen to people when you present a good document, and that's what I would be doing. I'd be lobbying them hard, starting with the local South Island minister.
What would you? That's not a bad start. What would you? What are the 2 things that the new mayor should advocate for in the first term? 2 things.
Well, my view is that you should be getting an alternative water supply.
That's one. Yep.
Yep. Second thing is I don't think you should be rating people on their water meters. I think that's horrible. It's just like a backdoor costing the ratepayers. It'll cost you, in my view, another $1,000 a year with water charges if they do a volume count on your water meters. And I don't think it's affordable at all.
Do you live here?
No, I don't, but thank you for asking.
It's a simple question. Huh?
I'm actively looking for a place to come down here and live. So there you go.
Very hard to find one down here. I've got friends looking.
Well, I'm going with a real estate agent who tells me she'll sell me something in 2
Right.
days'
So
time.
you're selling in Tasman, are you?
No, I'm not selling in Tasman, but I'm in the position to afford a house down here. So if you elected me as your mayor, I'd be living in town.
And how would you make the commute if you? I mean, I
pardon?
want to go back to that question. I don't want to go on about this, but how would you? I'm not sure there's good flights. I don't know with flights from Invercargill and Tasman, but how would you do it? How would you?
Well,
you've only got one. You're only one person.
Yeah.
You could have 2 jobs.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think that's a reality. As I said, in
I don't.
Tasman, when I put my application, I put it in early. The mayor said he was going to stand down. He wasn't standing for election. Very late in the piece, he said he was standing. And if you look at reality, when a standing mayor stands, there's very few people that ever upend them. So
Why don't you withdraw from Tasman?
Big one?
Why don't you withdraw your
You
nomination?
can't. You should know the electoral rules.
Yeah, well, I don't, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
But,
If you own 10 houses in 10 cities around the world...
yeah, but I wouldn't be so stupid to stand in 2 areas and ask for your commitment. I'm passionate about one area. You can only be passionate about one place. I struggle with the concept of being standing in 2 places.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I mean, I'm so committed to you. I'm going to stand in Tasman. I don't understand it, mate.
Let me finish. I've
Yeah,
worked in
please.
this community a number of times, and it's the local people that asked me to come down here and stand, including the several business places. So that's what it is. And that's what I've been
Who
asked.
asked you to stand?
Well, some local people.
Who?
Well, you don't name names, so that's inappropriate. You can see who nominated me. There's other people that have made contact with me. I know some people who own some very big businesses in town. They also suggest I stand as well.
Your brother says you've been here once in 50 years.
Well, yep, he would, because if you ring my brother and try any time you like, you'll get the answer machine and he won't respond to it. And I've been here more than once. I've been here quite a
Twice?
few times. No. You're being silly.
I'm just trying to find out how committed you are to...
No, I've been down here a few times for all sorts of things.
Okay.
I flew down here in late last year for a big concert in the Civic Hall, and I said I've been down here other times as well.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, Andrew.
And just about my brother's comments, and his comments about him, I must say that he very unkindly, I say it's brother rivalry. The night before he made those comments in the public, he rang me and spoke to me for an hour and 3/4, and I've got 10 pages of notes that he gave me all about your community. So to say something different is a bit off colour. But anyway, he needs to retire and enjoys retirement. I think he's done his best here, and I wish him well in his retirement.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything, Nobby? No, it's probably best. Yeah, you go for it. Yeah, I don't care where, as long as I'm there, or mayor. Yeah. Well, I think they've been a bit unkind, Max. Andrew, you know, good on you for caring about local governments. I think it's important.
Let's just talk about my name for 2 seconds, because it's.
Well, who are you?
He likes to use both. My name is Andrew Maxwell George Clark. My father's name was Andrew, and when you live in a house when you're growing up, you don't use Andrew and Andrew in the same house. They called me Maxwell. When I grew up, I have a preference to use Andrew. All my business documents come to Andrew, all my health things. So why can't I use my first name? Nothing wrong with it. When I applied to the council here for the elections, you have to see them on forms when the papers come out. I declared who I was, what I was previously known as, and there's no confusion, there's no doubt. And I noticed my brother did comment about it, and I'd just have to say this. His name's not Nobby, and how could he dare say something different? Thank you.
Okay, I think we might move on, unless anyone has any...
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you don't
Alex.
mind, Duncan.
Yeah.
If I could bring the conversation back to rates capping, which was the content of the question. I absolutely think there is a place for rates capping, but we have $158 million worth of rates revenue that comes in per annum. 85% of that is on core services. So if we had a rates cap, there's not a lot of wiggle room left there for us to be able to chop anything down. So that's the reality of the situation.
Yep. Alex, I'll come to you while we've got you. Faced with all the, you talk about the pressures. It's good linkage. Faced with all the spending pressures and the cost pressures, how would you lead? What would be your style?
What would be my style? If anybody that I've spoken to, thankfully there's been a lot of people tonight, knows me well, I'm an absolute infrastructure nerd. So at the moment we're going through a substantial amount of reform with consideration to infrastructure like waters reform, RMA, etc. I would lead with ratepayers' affordability in mind. We are in a cost of living pressured environment at the moment. I believe that for us, what's most important at the moment is balancing that cost affordability with the city's aspiration. We can't afford to go backwards at this point, but we also can't afford to stall because it's mandated by central government.
And I know you've read everything, and I try to too. And in the council document, it's a really impressive document. It's got huge depth. Do you agree that you may have to reduce services to the citizens of this town?
I mean, if rates get to a point where it is entirely unaffordable, then I absolutely do believe that there are the cost savings to be found.
Do you like the cost of the museum?
Would you like me to answer that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think actually this is. I'm glad you asked me that.
Coming from?
Yep, no, I'm glad you asked me that because this one's really deeply personal for me. Quite often people will say, well, you know, when rates are increasing so substantially, how could you afford a museum so substantial like this? And my answer is really close to my heart. My daughter's 11 years old now. We closed that museum when she was a toddler. We have an entire generation of Invercargill and Southland children that have never got to honour our arts, culture and heritage. That's what that facility should be. It should be arts, culture and heritage because you cannot divorce just museological or just culture or just
But is it worth
history.
90 million, or do you think you should come...
Absolutely, because this is an intergenerational facility.
You'd spend 90 million?
I would spend what we are spending, and this only, within this funding envelope, because this is an intergenerational facility.
Tom?
Well, we're getting some scaremongering here from the other Tom. Will it be 130 million? Right. So the last estimate that we had from staff, from project director, was that it will come in under budget, not over budget. The other thing I would say is that remember that the 85 million is for 3 projects, not for the museum, right? 3 projects being the Tutarium and the storage facility down at Clifton, and the third part being the museum. In total, the 3 of them will come in probably around about 83 million. That's a lot of money, but if you compare that building cost with standard building costs in New Zealand, you'll find that it's on the money, right? So people with scaremonger who tell you it's 130 million or some other made-up number, it is exactly that. It's a made-up number. Project directors, most of the costs are fixed because we've put contracts in which are fixed-price contracts, right? So the idea that it's going to be 100 is nonsense.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
Ian,
you voted it in to have the museum. Therefore, you raised the rates. You raised the rates.
Ian, you
and to be voted in again to raise more rates.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Yep.
Hey, look, back in December 2023, we voted on a set number for the museum, went through unanimous. Go another 6 months, July last year. Oh, shit, we forgot the experience. That's another $14 million we had to approve. 14 million on top of that. And then go to August last year. There was a tourism conference held here at the Ascot. We had our mayor stand up and say, we are building the flashest museum in New Zealand. Now, I'm pleased I heard Chris Bishop on radio the other day saying he doesn't want councils building buildings that win awards.
He did.
He wants them to be functional, do their job. What's the function of a museum is to tell a story and to show artefacts. I've been overseas and I've looked at what's in the museum. I can't even remember what the museum was built of or what it was itself. I was so mesmerised by what they were showing and telling. That's what we should have done, and we could have done it a hell of a lot cheaper than this.
Steve, the personality.
Got an opportunity here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is think about who is getting the money that's being spent. So if you've got to spend $90 million on a museum, is it going to the Richardson Group? Is it going to a company outside of Invercargill? If we can develop infrastructure that is paying local businesses that are small, then we can have the chance of circulating money inside the Southland economy. One of the other things that I present to you, and we'll probably cover this a little bit more shortly, is if we can find a way to recognise the fact that the Local Government Act asks and requires that we have out-of-town consultants, so we get them in from Australia, Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, these people don't have a vested interest in the economics of Southland. What we need to do is have an intermediary stage where we have elderly people and people who have got industry experience consulting and providing information who care and who live in Southland.
I just wonder though, with $90 million, I mean, I was at that Langlands hotel today, which is pretty impressive, and that was built for just over 50, and it's got bells and whistles everywhere. I mean, Winston loves it. It's got 5 bars in it, you know, and so he could just roll from one to the other, and I say that with full respect.
Exactly.
Why couldn't you do it for $50 million? I mean,
So
what's wrong with cutting your cloth to make a $50 million museum?
Bring the costs down and then get the local people to actually consult first before we get these internationals and these people from up north to come and sign it all off.
We don't need consultants from up north.
No, they're pricks from up north. They come to the town too often.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, honestly.
Like Howard Stern.
Yeah, other pricks. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'll get rid of them. I'll get rid of them tomorrow. Now, Steve, I was actually a question for you now.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. If rates revenue is capped, what specifically would you seek to cut or reprioritise? What would you take out of the budget? Should there be investment in arts, sports, pool facilities? Should that be deferred, and should it be on core infrastructure? What do you prefer? What would be your priority?
I believe that at the moment we're actually spending far too much because we're involving companies that are not from Invercargill. If you look at the cleaning companies...
Can I stop you there? What's the biggest spend on a company outside of Invercargill that you're worried about?
You want me to pull out some numbers right now?
Well, do you have any evidence?
I don't have any numbers with me,
Okay,
sorry.
well, carry on then. Carry on.
I'm done.
No. Shit, that was easy. You don't want to finish the question about your priorities?
You want to raise the question again, or...
Okay,
please?
well, what's your priorities? Is it infrastructure, or is it the nice to have stuff?
At the end of the day, what we need to do is we need to realise that a country and a region needs to be able to grow within itself. We're borrowing so much money, but it's actually going outside of the south. And we need to prioritise building a localised economy. So entrepreneurship and people who are running businesses at Invercargill need to be able to circulate the money inside of Invercargill. Whatever we require, whether it be infrastructure or tourism, needs to be able to feed back into itself so we've got the chance to grow. We need to be able to supply our own people and then supply services to the world.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. Tom, you wanted to respond?
So just to, so that people know what these numbers mean in dollar terms. So we had a rates increase of 7% this year. If government were to cap it at 3%, that's a 4% difference. $700,000 is 1%. So a 4% difference is 2.8 million, right? So if we had a 3% cap, we would have had to find 2.8 million from our budget, from a budget of 120 million, roughly, right? 2.8 million from 120 would have been a 2% saving in the budget. That's not a ridiculously high number. Where we would have saved it, I think, and we've talked about this many times, we spend about $5 million on consultants and contractors. If we have that, then we'd have saved that money. That would mean that we'd be taking a high level of risk because consultants generally are used to reduce risk in projects. But if we were prepared to take a higher level of risk, we could have saved half of it, 2.5 million, and that would have got us down to 3%.
But you can't keep putting 7% rates increases on these people of the city.
No, I agree.
You can't keep, I mean, I don't know if superannuation is going up 7% every year, but last time I looked, it wasn't. And so they're fixed incomes. 100%. And it's just that the local councils just seem to keep screwing people for more money. You've got to, at some stage, say to these people, you understand their plight and pull it back, don't you?
Absolutely agree. That's why I support the government's 3% cap.
Does everyone here support a cap?
The council needs to have its own cap rather than be controlled from
overseas or up north?
Yes.
Sorry, Duncan, I don't support a rate caps.
Why is
Sorry. Because
Tom, sit down.
When we look at the model that's working in Australia, how well is that working out for them? It's basically made the infrastructure become bankrupt. They run under a 3-state or 3-tiered government. We only run under 2. I'm actually quite fearful that we're going to take on a model that's not working in Australia, and we're going to be the lab test rabbits for here in New Zealand. And I think that there's actually other ways that we can make things happen. Councils are getting dumped on by government, and that's no secret because of the out-of-control spending. That's no secret. We've mentioned and touched on that in each of our openings here with you tonight. But the biggest thing is that we have to prioritise the work that we've got in front of us and make sure that work is core infrastructural business, push things out like we have with Rugby Park. I'm on the Rugby Park Working Committee and looking at how that can look in the future. The money that we spent or are going to spend or allocated to spend on it actually needed to be revisited again. There's been so much consultants, so much research done for Rugby Park that I'm sick of the talk fest.
Yeah, too many reports.
Yeah, too many reports.
Yeah,
so
we're at the yin-yang with reports.
That's right. So I'm looking forward to what we can come back with in the new council. Is Rugby Park fit for purpose? The field is, but the stadium itself isn't. Does it deliver to corporate and conferences? No, it doesn't. So we have to really think long and hard about how we're going to make a trade-off.
But all we talk about is spend.
That's
It's on another projects. We start projects, then we start another one, then we start another one. They've got to be finished at some stage. It's just spend. Thomas, you want to say something?
Yeah, we're talking about Rugby Park. Rugby League Park across the road hasn't got toilets or safety barriers from the road. But back to Stevie. Let's talk
what are you going to do about that at Rugby League? For Rugby League, what are you going to do for Rugby League?
Rugby League has no toilets across the road.
Hire a Portaloo.
Anyway, I'm talking about consultants. Stevie brought up consultants. Let's talk about consultants. How many librarians are in Invercargill Library? Any of you know?
Andrew will know.
Qualified librarians in the library. The City Council, because they got some high-paid consultants, said there's none. There are no librarians in the library because high-paid consultants came through and reformed the library. Next thing, on consultants.
Thank you very much. Thank you. No. You have to hold this. Yeah.
I just really want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Yes, that never happened, just for the record.
Put that in your book and smoke it.
Their title has been robbed from them.
Oh, that's not what you said, mate.
No,
Yeah.
the title, there's no librarians.
Would you like to apologise?
There are librarians in our library.
sure there
That's
are.
an entirely fabricated story.
What's their title? It is not librarians.
Well, there are
No, still-
librarians there.
When were you last in the library using the library?
Last week
Thank you, ma'am.
for a candidate meeting.
When were you last in there?
Candidate meeting.
I'm not talking about sleeping in there.
I'm there every day.
That's the problem. Okay, I've got Tom. And Tom next.
Tom me.
Yeah, Tom C. I've got you a nice one, mate. What is your view around the table on mana whenua representation, and how important is it to have Māori voices at the council table, and what's your view?
Okay, well, this is one of these subjects that probably splits people. Maybe 50-50. I'll give you my view. I want to do things in council that make a difference to people's lives. They make a difference to people's lives. That debate, whether or not we should have mana whenua, would split the community, would have arguments and marches and all sorts of things for months, and whatever way it fell, whether we had mana whenua reps or did not have mana whenua reps, it would not make one whit of difference to anybody's lives. So for that reason, I would not take it on. If you ask me my personal view, Panya and Evelyn add value, right? They add value to council. We listen to them, and they often say things that are of value. So You know, I'm absolutely happy with what we have at the moment, but even if I was dead against it, even if, I would not try to change it, because at the end of the day, it's a whole lot of hassle and strife for no purpose.
Right, so you keep the status quo.
I would keep the status quo.
Rangi, you have a view?
Okay, look, this is the first term we've had the Mana Whenua reps on, and the idea, instead of having the Maori ward, which would have been open to all over New Zealand, this has worked. It's worked well. The only downside, and I've been annoyed with, is through the governance system set up by the mayor, is that they are allowed to vote on committees, standing committees, infrastructure, you name it, policy. But unfortunately, all of those committees have to bring back their resolutions to full council to get ratified. And they can't vote on full council.
No.
So it's a bit of a Clayton vote. So, you know, moving forward, if I was mayor, I would give each committee delegated authority. They made the decision, it stands. Okay, and then their vote has purpose. I do like the way it is now with both the reps. I think it works great. It just adds, I think, a council of 15 instead of 13. More voices, the better.
Yeah, and shutting them out, what's that going to achieve?
No, it's participation.
Exactly.
It's great.
Andrew, you got a view of it?
No, I was just what I would like to go back is into this rate.
Well, do you think they've done a good job, the two Mana Whenua reps?
Yes, I've spoken to the lady that was standing for the last 6 years, and she's standing now on the council. I'm quite open to any accommodation factor. I think they contribute in a different way. And if you looked at the Bluff situation where there's problems with the wastewater, they're quite upfront and tell you about it. I think, from what I'm told, that the council took the cheap option out there, didn't do the right job, and now there's a highly potential contamination factor with the fishing industry out that way.
Right, thank
and if
you.
that's the case, they need to revisit it and do it again.
Yep, thank you. Ian, I'll go to you. I think you're the last one for me to ask a question. How would you, in a leadership role, work towards restoring Invercargill's messaging nationally and locally? You know, what would be your brand, Ian?
I think the question read the perception of Invercargill and Southland. So I'll talk about Invercargill. Look, going back to a comment made by a fellow councillor, Campbell, that last person out turned the lights off, and that goes back 20-odd years, 25 years. And other comments, I used to, in business, I'd ring up Auckland and order something, and they joke about the penguins on the beach and stuff like that. And slowly things have turned around. This has been amazing. And I'll tell you where we are now, because Alice, my wife, and I, we regularly go to a sauna on the beach. There's now a mobile sauna you can go to. Sure. And it seats a Reedy Beach. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Turn the microphone off, quick.
Yeah. So here we are, sitting in the sauna. Bit of a sweat up.
Yeah.
And
you got your kit on or kit off?
No. Talking.
Is she here tonight?
Huh?
Talking to the two people in front of us from Auckland. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, we're down here buying more investment properties. Why? Oh, we've got 7 now. We love this place. The last one they bought was in Bluff. This is fantastic. This is such a great place to visit. They came round for a drink afterward. We had a couple of wines.
Shit, this sort of things. The Swingers Club.
Yeah. No, that's but hey, perception.
No, that's down the Harris Street.
Yeah, the perception has gone from turn the lights off to say we envy what you have down here.
Yeah, this is. I think there's media in the room, so I'm not sure. Thank you for that. So yours is sauna on the beach brand. Yeah, is it?
Absolutely.
Okay, Rhea, you'd like to have 5 minutes in the sauna? Yeah. Go. You go. Yeah, I'm coming to you. Okay, and so my final question is to Mr. Rhea, and it goes like this. Let me just find it. Just chat amongst yourselves. We'll get there. So council amalgamation.
Thank you.
Yes or no, and where you
I
stand?
thought you were going to forget about me when you said
No,
about you had the last
how would I
question.
forget about you?
So I guess the surprise of when we knew from the newspaper that an amalgamation document had been put out, and it was from the Southern District Mayor, and feedback I got from the public, because I wasn't too sure how I felt about that, although Murray Housey's been very, very staunch in his belief about how things should look in the future. So I got some feedback, and I looked at our population base here in South, and we've got over 100,000 people. We've got 40 councillors that sit over 4 councils. We've got 66 community board members and 1 ward member. And I think that in history, words like amalgamation and centralisations have been pretty dirty in the eyes of the public, because they feel that things will be taken away, that their costs will be hiked up higher. How do you rate South District Council towards Invercargill ratepayers? There's a lot of balls up in the air, Duncan. Currently, the commission, not at the spa place, but
It was a sauna over. There's a spa place as well? Balls in the air at the spa place, and you go to the sauna afterwards.
So there are a lot of moving parts to this, and what I do know is that this change won't happen overnight, and there's a hell of a lot more work and consultation that needs to be put into this before we can feel confident in our futures and in terms of councils.
Thank you, Ria. Alex?
Yeah, I'll have a wee bite at this one as well. So as Councillor Bond said, we were a little bit blindsided by the idea of an amalgamation proposal. Typically when you see something like this, especially when you are looking at amalgamating and working with your regional partners, you would expect that voice to come from the community. That didn't happen. We didn't know about it. Environment Southland didn't know about it. And, I guess it was led by Rob Scott. So what we have now is a situation where the report is being generated, but it's not going to have the local voice or the local consultation in it, and that really isn't what the community has asked for.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to speak about it.
How did you not get involved in that at an earlier point?
It was never brought to us to be involved in the first instance. The way that we found out about it was through the paper. So Rob had the idea, of course. Well, he didn't come to us with the idea. We do, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. And he's, of course, part of the mayoral forum as well. But he didn't use those avenues to actually bring us along on the ride. We were just entirely blindsided by it in the media.
Andrew, you want to say?
Yes, I think one of the things I support is working with other councils, and a good indication down here is your waste products, which runs between 3 councils. And collectively, that's how you can do a lot of your business. I'm not in the support of amalgamation unless there's a referendum from the ratepayers and they support the thing.
Thank you.
And the reason being
Go.
is that what you find is lesser populations have little representation in council, because there's a population-based appointments to councils. And if you have a few people in the farming areas, they won't get any representation unless you change the rules.
Thank you, Andrew. Ian, do you want to say something?
Yeah, look, we've got two great examples. In South Island, we've got Nelson and Marlborough that are both unitary authorities. So that's amalgamated the regional council and the district councils. And we should be able to easily work out, either by asking, has this worked better? And financially, you should be able to look at the books. Now, to me, it makes sense, a unitary authority.
Yeah, well, if you don't, Shane Jones will get rid of the district councils. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Regional. Yeah. Mind you, if you district, you want to get boot to it.
So look, I'm open. The unitary sounds great.
You're open to it?
Yep.
Ria?
I'm open to it, but I need more information. But firstly, we need to walk amongst our people and have them decide what we're going through this too.
Yeah.
So far, they've been ignored.
If I can just, to Councillor Pottinger's point there, that we've got some examples of regional unitary authorities across the South Island, and citing Nelson Tasman. They were part of the 1989 reforms, and they know no different. They were amalgamated into a unitary and have only been a unitary. So their speaking point is from being a unitary. They don't know what it was like to have been a fragmented or a...
Well, in Auckland it works. I mean, a lot of people argue it doesn't, but you've got a one-stop shop. Otherwise, you've got 8 competing mayors. It's all a vanity contest, and it was hopeless. Tom C.
So by far the biggest saving would come from a single unitary authority for Southland. But for me, the other issue is, if you think of Southland as a ship, you've got the urban area that provides services and so forth, including the airport and the port. And basically the value is being generated by the surrounding agriculture. to have two mayors, one looking after urban, one looking after the agriculture, is like having a captain port and a captain starboard on the same ship. It's, in my view, a ridiculous proposition. And in any case, when you compare the two, the savings from a single one is much bigger than the savings from two.
Steve?
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker. I wonder if we could please revisit question number 4, which is my one.
I was wondering if you were going to ask me that. No. I gave you a chance and you said you'd finished.
No, that was to answer that question, mate. We don't want to hold these guys up. They've got to get home to the children.
Yeah.
So question number 4, council project spending and budget priorities.
Steve, I asked you and you said you'd finished.
I'm waiting for my opportunity to speak in question 4, sir.
Okay, you've got 30 seconds, go. Because I gave you a chance, mate.
So currently, according to the 2023-2024 report, we are at about $323 million worth of debt. We're projected to go into well over $500 million by 2030, which directly affects your rates bills. Now, what we need to do is think about where is that borrowed money coming from, what contractual arrangements do we have, and what are we going to do with the money that comes in? Can we distribute within Southland, make it so that it's bigger than just paying salaries and then sending the profits off to another part of the country or another part of the world? That is something we need to design and develop solutions for, which is what I'm keen on.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Alex, you wanted to?
Yeah, a lot of those figures there were totally incorrect. We currently have $185 million worth of debt.
So how far out were you? 200 million?
Yeah, relative to that. It's really interesting when you bring up the concept of debt, and I know, Stevie, that you look at debt as though it's a big evil thing, because I've seen some of your social media posts that we're digging ourselves a hole intergenerationally into debt. And he's right to a certain degree in the sense that we are taking on debt, but we are taking on debt for intergenerational assets. It's unfair. At the moment, we're going through substantial water reform. We need to renew roads, waste pipes. We need to be able to fund that over the long term, because it is not fair to lump the ratepayers of just today, when there's intergenerational assets, with the entire bill. It's exactly like your house mortgage. You have your rates, you have your income coming in, or your paycheck coming in. You'll pay for your groceries and your power with that. But you'll also use a portion of it to pay against your mortgage. Your mortgage is the equivalent of your debt, and it's that we pay down over time to spread it intergenerationally.
Tom.
We're getting back to amalgamating the areas. I've been 13 months going door to door, speaking to urban people, not rural people, because we're in an urban environment and urban people have different needs to the rural people.
And what did you find?
Just to save money is not a good reason. We need to keep Invercargill for Invercargill and worry about what's happening in Invercargill.
It makes a lot of sense too. Andrew?
Yes.
I'm going to wrap this up shortly because the young people need to get to bed, so they've got some questions to ask you. So.
Thank you for that. One of the ways to keep your rates down is to look at it in perspective. You're very lucky here in Invercargill. Your percentage of net debt to income is 71%, one of the lowest in the country. You can thank your staff here for running a good ship, whether you like it or not. Well, yes, you might credit that. That's all right, but it runs a good ship. You're very lucky. And the way to keep your rates down is simply by taking on term loans, which actually spreads the risk of a significant development over a period of time. And it's quite affordable, and you're in quite a good position to do that, instead of hitting you each year for an annual
what would you pledge? What can you pledge on a rates increase? What would you like to see? What can you pledge on a rates increase? What would you if there's no cap put in by the government, what's your pledge?
Well, I think the council could go around the 5%, to be honest. I think that's a possibility. I'm not saying it is, but I'd have to look at have a little bit more than that, perhaps. It depends on the projects and how.
So what's the answer? Is it 5 or 7? What is the answer? 5%, 7%?
Well, it could be in that range. That's what I'd say. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It depends on the projects you wish to undertake.
Yeah, or not undertake.
Yep, that's correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Look, how do people know that the money that we are borrowing is being managed well? Well, let me give you one number that I think is important. The cost of debt to Invercargill is the lowest in New Zealand. It is the lowest of any council in New Zealand, right? We get a chart that shows what the borrowing cost is for every council, ours is the lowest. And it's the lowest because it's managed well. So, you know, that gives council assurance that that's a job that's been done well.
You can, ma'am, yeah. I'll just repeat this so people can hear it. So. Good work, Tom.
Good evening, everybody.
I do
Could you give Councillor Pottingene a commitment to keeping Southland Enterprises for our disability in our community as a company, not amalgamating with any other out-of-town organisation that do recycling? Can you give me that commitment that we won't lose that for our people of disability in our community?
Well, we just talked about that yesterday at the WasteNet meeting in Gore that I attended, and it is unanimous by the Invercargill City Council that we retain Recycle South.
Brilliant.
It was unanimous. Okay, and I stated that quite clearly to the committee, who obviously other councillors from from SDC and Gore, they have different views, but I stated, as representing ICC, I stated that clearly.
No, that's clear. That's a commitment. If he goes back on it, we'll get him. Okay? We know where he lives, we're going to get him. Okay, now, Steve, what now?
Just one more comment. I need to go directly back to Alex's, just try to discredit my financials. This is directly from the icc.govt.nz website. Total liabilities $173.6 million as of 2023. Total expenditure $144 million, which adds up to my figure, which I presented before. Thank you.
And it's proof at the men's conference that we're always right. You know, that's what we'll...
I'm not against debt. What I'm against is spending a whole bunch of money which is going to go out of the south. Let's restructure.
I'm with that. I agree. We have, before they head to bed, we have a question from our youth council, which people thought that that a few of us were on in there before, but I said no, we're far too old. So here's the question. You all have to answer this. I'll just see if I can just get this going.
Hi, my name's Tyler. I've been on youth council for about 3 years, and something that we talk about quite a lot is the lowering of the voting age to 16. And so we're wondering what your thoughts are on that, whether you're before or against, and maybe some reasons behind them as well.
Heavens, we're not that mad, are we? Okay, so Alex, I'll start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one thing that I'm fortunate to have had a conversation with Youth Council about before. There's international studies that show, and we've got Scotland as a use case, where they've lowered the voting age and they've had quite a comprehensive civics education program that they have in their schools. What that has shown over time is that if you get young people involved in civics and voting earlier, they will go on to continue to vote and participate and engage in local body politics.
So you're a yes? So you're a yes?
Fundamentally, yes, I'm a yes, but it comes with serious civics education.
It has to. Andrew?
Yes, well, I think it should be at 18. I think I've had teenage family. I don't think 16 is an appropriate age. I think they vote in different reasons for what the council would look for.
Okay, so you're a no? Ian?
That's correct.
Yep.
Military age, 18, drinking age, 18, but at 16 you're allowed to do certain things that you have to make a very wise call on.
I have no idea
And so I am saying if you have that, and if you have that power to make that decision, you can vote.
So, okay, yep, okay. 16?
16.
I was just beginning to like you. Steve?
Currently we have a high percentage of 18 to 45-year-olds who don't vote, who are registered. So let's work on actually bringing this back to being relevant to young people too. I think 16 people can vote, but we need to realise that a lot of the guys who are younger still aren't voting because they feel disengaged or
they're not working. They're not working. I mean,
wondering
we've got
if there's
25%
any,
unemployment between 15 and 19. How would they vote if they don't work?
Yes, so the idea is that we need to create opportunities for young people and engage them so they see value in what council does. Let's go for 16.
16, Rhea?
I'm going to get booed because my answer to that, when it was videoed earlier, was no, and there are reasons for that. We can look at overseas and look at what their environment provides for their youngsters, but we can't even teach in our schools civics at best currently, or even when I was at high school. I'm of the opinion from lived experience and talking to younger people and families that we need to let our kids grow up. We need to let them go through milestones, benchmarks of their lives about how they decide for themselves, to then mature to the age of 18, where, like me and some other parents, you rammed your kids so fast to that voting poll at the age of 18 where they could make that decision on their own.
Yeah, plenty of time. Tom?
So I think it's a matter of judgment. My view is 18. When it moved to 16 in Scotland, it was entirely for political reasons. It was so the Scottish National Party could get their vote. 18 to me is early enough.
Yes, Tom, you can have a say on this too.
I agree with Alec, as long as it's with being taught at the government. Last week or 2 weeks ago, Jade Hargis took the election forms, which I go around house to house with, and got the students who are voting age to vote. They were teaching them about voting. I was extremely political at a young age. That's how I know Tim Shadbolt, Minto. That's my uncle, Toby Hill.
Your name dropper.
Extremely political at that age.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to finish up with some quick fire. And then I want to finish off with, I'm going to get people to clap per candidate, so I just want to see how the vote's looking. And then I'll wrap things up. So, I'm a prick of a guy. So, some quick fire questions, and I'll start, Alex down here. If you were not allowed to vote for yourself, who would you vote for?
Tom Campbell.
Tom Campbell.
Yep, I think he's a great governor. And although we never see eye to eye, well, not often, I think, often enough actually, it would definitely be, Tom would definitely be my choice.
Okay. Andrew, you can't say Maxwell.
Well, I don't think. What did you say?
Andrew. I said you can't say Maxwell.
Well,
Come on, that was good, mate. I made that up on the spot.
Yeah,
Oh, give me something.
when you're as busy as me, you'd vote for yourself, wouldn't you?
Okay, so you'd vote for no one else?
No, I would consider what everyone said.
Who would you vote for, mate? Take a pick. Have a pick. Just don't say a name.
I think they've all got good values.
Oh, my God.
Just say. I don't prejudge people.
Okay, so you can answer that. Ian?
007.
Nice. The name's Bond. Steve?
If I was to be deputy, it would be Ian, and if he was to be mayor, it'd be the goods too.
Nice, Steve. Maria?
I would say Pottinger, Rangi at that.
Tinks?
And that's because he shoots from the hip and he tells things as they are and he's a straight shooter.
Tom?
I think Alex would make a great mayor someday. I think she... I think...
Well, you got another one for the Mayor's Conference?
I think Alex would benefit from an opportunity to be a chair, and I would promise her that if I became mayor.
We're building coalitions here. This is good. Just wait your turn, all right, Alex? She's not happy. Tom?
Tom's quick with a joke and a light of your smoke, but today's answers would go to Rhea or Ian.
Yeah, just pick one.
I'm friends of Rhea. Rhea or Ian, because they both
I didn't know that.
stand up for you. They literally both stand up for you. They don't stand up for the big corporations.
Yeah. Well done, Tom. Thank you very much. Alex, how do you deal with stress?
How do I deal with
stress? Yeah.
I spend time with friends and family. I'm quite a technology buff, so I would spend some time tinkering around on my computers.
Get off your device.
Yeah.
Andrew?
My whole career's been stressful because the work I'm in, and I cope with it very well. I'm not affected by it at all. I make good decisions under stress. I'm an intensive care paramedic. I've worked the rescue helicopters. I'm a registered nurse. I've done extreme cases in extreme situations, and I can think clearly and precisely in those situations.
How do you deal with stress?
I just enjoy life.
Yeah. Not a bad answer. Ian? Saunas?
Right.
Love it.
No. So, look, every weekday morning I run at 4:30 for an hour.
4:30 a.m. or?
4:30 a.m. And when I
nuts,
come back, Alice and I, my wife, we have a meditation room that I sit in for an hour, and then I go back to bed at 6:30 and start the day.
You forgot the sauna.
Good.
Only on a Sunday.
Ian, it's a long day.
It's a long day, but I feel good. Of running at 4:30 in the morning.
Do you go back to sleep at 6:30? I'm just trying to work this out.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and it's a great sleep up at 7:30. It's something I've done forever. But when you running at 4:30, it's completely dark. Queen's Park's amazing. Not in a creepy way, but but you can take a problem. You can take a problem on the run, and when you get home, you've got it solved.
So you honestly go at 4:30 every morning?
4:30 every morning.
Oh, you're certifiable. Steve?
The best stress relief I've done this last couple of weeks is snowboarding with my family, but I also do building projects. I have power tools and create small buildings.
Yeah, I agree. That works well too. Yep, Ria?
Has everybody seen the old Spray and White app when the mother-in-law comes to the house, she sees running with her stuff and she's doing a whole dance drama thing? Well, I don't do that. I am a member of City Fitness Gym and I go pound it out on the treadmill, and often to try and slow my stress down, I have to eliminate what is causing me stress. So I diagnose myself and let myself know I'm okay.
Would you consider going through 4:30 a.m. runs as a coalition?
I wouldn't consider going to the sauna on the same day, and I wouldn't consider going to running at 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
I'm between 6 and 8 at the gym and my personal trainer.
Yeah. Tom?
Well, I've got a good mate called Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
And I find that meeting him just a little bit.
You and Winston share their mate.
At night with a Cuban cigar, and my wife will testify I do that. Actually, I'm not just making it up. Is the best way to de-stress.
Yeah. And Tom, you're obviously at the library.
I'm at the library at about 7 o'clock in the morning when it opens, and I do the stairs every morning. And that's not so much a stress. That's to live longer. I tend to have stress every 2 weeks or so. Tracy will get perhaps the end of it a little bit. Though I've lived in extremely dangerous situations overseas.
What's the most dangerous situation overseas?
I've been shot at. I've had knife attacks.
Really?
In South Africa.
Shit, it won't be much better here.
Huh? I don't really have problems with that.
With knife attacks? No, I don't. I enjoy them.
First responder to a truck going through about 5 or 6 cars. Wasn't a problem till afterwards when I phoned up my pastor and to talk me out of it. You'd know that stress when you try
It doesn't do stress.
Life.
Doesn't stress. Okay, thank you. Well, your favourite place in Invercargill or Bluff, Alex?
I have a special seat that I go to in Queen's Park in the Jesse Calder Gardens. That's where I think about how much, about the vision for the city really, and how much more of a better bear I would be than Tom Campbell.
But he would give you a position on one of the committees.
Yeah, and I would have given him one too when I asked him if he would continue on as my deputy. But
would you have him as your deputy if you win? And
Yep.
you're a serious candidate.
Yep.
I know you are.
Yep.
And I think that there'll be a number of people voting for you. Would you take Tom as your deputy?
Unfortunately, he's not as committed to community as I am, and that's why
you're
I'm
just
standing
mayor only,
for both.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I am standing for both, is because I don't
it's all
think...
or nothing.
Well, yeah, it's not. It's commitment to community isn't conditional for me.
Yeah.
So I'll be in whatever seat that our community has asked us to be, or asked me to be. Sorry. Yeah, that's really it.
Right, Andrew, your favourite place in Invercargill or Bluff, if you're aware of it?
I like the stadium. I'm a sporting person. I've had a background in sports and played National League sports myself. I like seeing people perform, and I think you've got some great sports people locally, and they're doing very well at present.
So where's your favourite place?
The stadium.
Stadium.
Yeah, I like seeing people participate in sports. So I think it's great to see.
Ian?
To me, the jewel in the crown is what we have at Sandy Point and Aridi Beach. It's
no shit.
It's fantastic, and Sandy Point is home to one of the greatest communities, Coopers Creek in South.
Have you tried the infrared saunas? Ian, have you tried the infrared saunas, the new ones?
Infrared?
Yeah, have a look at them on Temu. Have a look at them. Serious, Steve.
Oh, I'm a big fan of local markets. I think local markets are energising, they've got good vibes, and it's great to see people out there starting something new.
Yeah, hard to beat. James?
My favourite place is Queen's Park, because when I first arrived in Invercargill, I went along there and stole some guys' golf balls without realising it, and got chased down the street and had to give them back. So it led to it being a very funny story, but since then It's where my children, I've chosen to take them. I've watched them grow in confidence. It's where I got married. It's actually where it's where I feel most at peace.
Right, and you've no longer got this fetish for the golf balls?
Well, now I play golf. So.
Yeah, Tom?
So, Oreti Beach, hail, rain or shine with my dogs.
Yeah. And the Johnny.
And the cigar.
Library?
My wife Tracy and I are at the Chinese Gardens every night, approximately about 6 o'clock, for about 20 minutes, walking, talking at the gardens. The Chinese Garden, it's in
Chinese
Queen's
Garden.
Park.
Yep.
And if it's on the week, I like going to the Glass House.
Right. My final question before we wrap things up tonight. What kind of pie do you get from the Fat Bastard Pies? I just
This is an age-old question because
Yes.
I've tried to try them all, and I try to keep going back for the pie of the month.
Yeah.
But honestly, I am, and this is so basic. I understand it. It's like saying white bread, but I actually quite like the regular mince or the pepper steak.
Yeah, I'm sort of Mr.
Yeah, sorry about
Mr.
that.
Mince and big cheese, you know.
Ooh.
It's, yeah.
Ooh, you can tell.
Andrew, you know.
You can see I don't need any more pies.
I don't
tried,
hand out
like,
those jokes.
What I have tried is your local chocolate factory.
No, I was asking about the pies.
I know, chocolate pie.
Chocolate. Yeah, no, they go well. So you have you ever had a pie from there, from Fat Bastard?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Ian.
My choice, without doubt, is the mutton pie. I'm a great Hopgood's fan.
No gravy. No gravy.
No gravy. Love the spicy sausage meat. Yeah.
That's not a Fat Bastard pie.
It is. They have a mutton pie. Fat bastards have a mutton pie.
We were thinking something else, I think, weren't we? Steve.
Yes, the fatty mutton pie is the one.
Right. Rhea.
I like Little Miss Steak and Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just plain mince.
Yeah.
I never had a pie when Nobby had his heart attack. I was seeing a doctor and he told me, look after yourself, no alcohol, and sorry, no pies.
No pies. Oh, well, I'm past that. Thank you very much to all the candidates tonight on the stage. I think give a big round of applause for them, please. Right, and good on you for standing as well. You know, it's important to. I didn't mean standing, but I don't mean it literally. But if I could just get, I'm going to get them to stand up one by one, and I want the applause as like a vote. It's okay. Alex, so ladies and gentlemen, Alex, thank you so much. Andrew, thank you so much for coming down. Ian, Rangi, yeah. Thank you. Steve, thank you so much, Steve. Good man. Rhea, James, thank you. Tom, thank you so much. And Tom, thank you very much. Okay, folks, thank you for coming out tonight. I've probably gone over time. That's usually the case. Thank you to our volunteers earlier on from Invercargill Rotary and Invercargill City Council and Ascot Park for your generous contribution supporting the venue and bringing this event to Invercargill free of charge, so thank you for that. A recorded version of this event will be available for viewing tomorrow via the Southland Business Chamber Facebook, so you can look at yourselves and have lots of regrets. And all the very best. You've got a great town. You should be proud of you.